What's up, guys? Welcome back to new episode of kosidev. It's been a long time. You guys might have noticed. It's been a long time since I streamed or recorded any video tutorial or some stuff like that. Quite for a long time right now. So yeah, I'm back. So we'll be starting recording more. And so yeah, basically what we'll be doing today is on the popular video I made on with Flutter, basically for Flutter. What's it called again? Flutter desktop app. So I once created a Flutter desktop app, which is basically going viral on YouTube. It's around 8.5k views at the moment in less than a year. People have been commenting that I should make a full video on it, so that's basically what we'll be doing today. So if you look around, you can actually see the whole setup. So I just made this for you guys just to demo it at the moment. Then later on we can go into the full code and then show you how to recreate the whole stuff from the beginning. You don't need to you don't I'm not just going to show you the visual. I'm also going to show you guys the code. So basically, yeah, well, that's what we'll be doing over here. So basically this is actually my iOS iPad simulator. So this iPad simulator from iOS, and you can actually get this from your Xcode. You can run your code from Xcode and get this. So basically you can scroll this is basically how this looks on iPad. You can go on this, go this type. That's actually a keyboard and I stopped it, so let's get that keyboard up again. So you can get the keyboard up from here. So over you can say toggle your software keyboard, tap over there and you can see that toggle on. So you can just keep typing. Let's actually type a real job. So I would say I'm searching for front end row. Go by front dash end, yeah, and then done. You see that create a tooltip for us, a sheet for us, and I can also over here I can say back end, and once you click end done, you can see this created, and you can actually go ahead and toggle them off. We can just have this scrollable what's it called again, meter or what, slider, yeah, I got it. So it's called scrollable slider. Don't mind me, guys, I mostly forget about some stuff, and the name is being given, the botanical name we gave to it. But yeah, I remember. So it's called in front end we call it slider. So yeah, so our slider, I'm saying I want a front end job, or I've forgotten that we actually removed the job over here, but yeah, that be it. But I will be saying I need a front end job that will be paying me 200,000. Okay, guys. If you know where I can get a front end job that will be paying me 200,000, let me know, guys. I'm actually in need of it at the moment. Yeah, but I said I want a job that will be paying me 200,000 for front end. So that's basically what we'll be adding over here, and it should be contract. So if you actually get a contract front end job that will be paying you 200,000, okay, let me know, guys, so I can apply to the job. So basically that's it, and you have this sidebar animation that we created over here. Yeah, actually a cool animation. What else am I missing? Then you have this search bar at the top, and yeah, see, and now you have this on the desktop. So this is the desktop version. So we have the iPad version and we have the desktop version. And the desktop version, you can actually scroll, do the same stuff we did on this over here. So still the same stuff. That's cool. Yeah, that's it basically at the moment. So right now we will go over in details to start creating this on our own. And if you look, I also have what's it called, I can actually show you guys. So basically we'll be recreating this design as it is, and this is also the designer that did this. It's called A.R. Shaker. I don't know if I got the name correct, but yeah, he's a great designer. So I just got this design from Dribble, which is a go-to place for everything front end. Actually, there's multiple places can actually get designs as a front end developer, but my best two places or top two places will be Behance. I don't know if I pronounced that correct, but I think it's Behance or Dribble. Dribble or Behance. Those are the best places to get a good design. So if you want to kind of like code up some stuff or get an inspiration, any stuff you can actually think about, can get them on these two platforms. Yeah, so that's basically it, guys. So we're trying to recreate this, basically what we already have for you. So let's get on board on this. I'm going to go ahead and shut down all this stuff. Shut down the iPad. So the iPad is shut down at the moment. So I can shut down the iPad. It's shut down at the moment. So I'm gonna bring up our editor. So this is our code editor. It comes with a predefined Flutter demo app. But let's go ahead and run this demo app. You can start from there and then start destructuring everything we need. I said destructuring, but that's still the same thing. So we just basically go ahead and start breaking down every code here to what we actually need. So let's get on board on that. So I'm waiting for this to build. I don't know why it's taking time, but it shouldn't be taking this much time. Okay, this is actually running on our iPad. So if you check, you can actually see that this code is running on iPad. I was actually looking for it just to see that it's running on our iPad. So that's basically it. Like I said, a Flutter demo app over here. But we don't want this to be running on our iPad at the moment. So you can just go ahead and destroy this. Actually, guys, you can actually edit your Flutter run profile to run multiple stuff at the same time. I think I saw it somewhere, but I'm not going to do it right now because I've forgotten how to do that. But when I remember, I will do a separate video on it. Or I think I did a video on it on my YouTube channel. I'm not too sure about that. But you guys can go check my YouTube channel and see if you can find a video on that. But what I mean, you can actually have an iPad running here. You can have a desktop version of your Flutter code running, and you can even have a mobile version of your Flutter code running somewhere here. So that's basically what I'm saying. So for now, I'm going to turn this off. We are going to change this to a different platform, and the platform we are going to be running this will be MacOS Desktop. Once you choose that, go ahead and run without debugging. Let's give it some time. And there you go. So you can actually see our code running fine at the moment. Yeah, so this is the desktop version. You can keep on tapping on this. This is the demo app I was talking about. And if you take a look, you can actually see that this is actually different from the previous Flutter versions of the demo app. That's because they are using Material 3, the latest Material design for this Flutter, and they actually made it default. Yeah, they made it default. You can turn this off if you want. Yeah, you can see they made it default right now on Flutter. Then if you over here, you can change this to false, and once you change this to false, it will be the old Flutter design. I think you have to run this again. Yeah, that's basically it, the old Flutter design. And once you turn this on, we are just going to leave it on. I don't want to turn it off, so let's leave it on, and you can actually see the new Flutter design. But if you have some issues, we can decide to turn it on, off. Okay, what else are we trying to do right now? So since we have all this, and next off, we are going to turn off this debug check mark. So let's go ahead and turn this debug check mark off. You can turn that off by basically having another property here called debug. Show, I think it's called show debug. No, not here. That should be after home. Yeah, turn this to false. That will basically remove the debug check mark at the top. So that's gone. And next is basically to start developing our app. To start with, this is actually how I structure my app whenever I'm running on a new project or stuff like that. But not most of the times, but mostly it depends on the architecture I'm using. But this is mostly the simple architecture I usually use. In this architecture, I'm going to create two folder. I'm going to create folders. We are going to have home and application. So that will be two. Two folder. Which one will be core folder? I'm trying to make sure I remember it again. Yeah, it should be two folder. So one should be core folder. I will actually explain what these are doing. The second one, I usually name this to be home, but you can name it anything you want. But basically, home means a feature. So this home right now, I'm trying to say this home will be a feature for the home screen. So if I want to create an about section or any other screen, I'm going to create a new folder for it. So I'm going to call this home. Inside the home, I'm going to create two other folder. One of the folder is going to be called application. There you go. Enter. Inside the home, we're going to create another one called widgets. Now last but not the least, I create another one called presentation. Most of you must have known what I'm doing over here. So basically, this the same thing as model view pattern. So over here we have the application. This is going to host our business logic in here, and this presentation is going to be the view, and the widget is going to be the small custom widget, because everything in Flutter is called widget. So small custom widget will be inside this widget folder, and our core folder will be our customization theme, and everything will be inside our core folder. So right now, let's go ahead and create inside our home, inside our presentation, create a file, and I'm going to name this file to be main home page. So main home underscore page dot, and in here is going to be a stateful. I'm going to use a stateful widget. Yeah, we're going to name this stateful widget main home page. There you go. Over here it's kind of added a placeholder for now, but you can just manage that. Save this. Nothing's gonna happen. We are not going to see the effect, but for us to see the effect, I'm gonna move this. Not move, actually copy the name of our widgets, go over to the main.dot. Within there, I'm gonna delete most of the hard-coded code we have here. We don't need them anymore. Starting from this, my home page, delete it. We don't need it. And once that is done, go ahead and replace what we have here with our main home page that we created. Then go ahead and import this. If you go ahead and run this code at the moment, and also these sections, I usually remove it. and name this. Our app title should be job board app. There you go. Go ahead and save. I can see the whole stuff is now replaced with what we have in this our main home page. So next stuff is basically I'm going to show you guys how to create this responsive layout, whereby you can resize the if you resize the desktop, it will actually resize properly, and the layout, if you expand it, the layout will expand. So we are going to create that, but that's an issue. You can actually see if you can resize this, keep on resizing to this smallest version, which we don't need. We want, like, if you resize it, the minimum it can go should be at this point. It shouldn't exceed more than this. Yeah, so how to do that? That's the package I usually use to achieve that. I'm gonna copy the package over for you guys. It's called Window Resize. This is basically how I use it. I think the pack is not actually released as a package, but you can install it from GitHub. It's available on GitHub. So this is how we're gonna do it. So inside our dependencies, after our Cupertino, I'm gonna paste this code. So if you go to on your browser, type window resize, and let me actually help you guys with that. Show you guys the one I'm talking about. So if you want to add that to your own, you can figure out where to get it. There you go. So we're gonna copy this so we can actually look for it. I want to just copy the Git URL, paste it at the top. Yeah, there we go. You can actually see it here. So this is the one I'm talking about, Flutter desktop embedding. Inside over here, I can go to the plugin section. Inside the plugin section, you can see the window resize plugin I'm talking about. So this is practically a plugin. So you guys can get it and use. And also, guys, you can actually go over to my GitHub page and follow me on my GitHub page and start all my projects on the GitHub page. Also, thanks for that. So basically, I'm going to head and save this. Once you save this, it's going to kind of like get all those packages for you to use for your local development and bundle it with your Flutter also. So once that is done, go over here and start making use of that. First, go to the main.dat at the top over here. Then we can start writing some code to achieve what we want. Remember, what we are trying to do is to make our windows resizable but not too small, and you can expand it as much as you want, but you can kind of like keep on resizing it until it gets to this smaller portion. So that's basically what we are trying to avoid. That's why we are using this plugin. So to do that, so over here I'm gonna say widget. It's called widget Flutter binding dot ensure insurance. Basically ensure that everything is insurance within Flutter. So once we have that is added, I'm gonna copy some code over. So this is the code I'm gonna copy over. But I'm gonna explain the code for you guys to understand. So we have an if statement right in here, but let's go ahead and import all this. Basically import from dat.io, and then for this we are going to import our window resize that. So let me explain this. So with this window resize plugin that we have or package, what it does, so what I'm saying is that if the platform, because you don't want this to be on your mobile app, so you don't want, if you open the app on your mobile app, you're going to see your Flutter app kind of like resized to some size that doesn't make any sense. So that's why we are adding this if statement, kind of like a guard to it that says if the platform is Windows or platform is Linux for Linux systems, or if the platform is MacOS. So if the platform is also MacOS, go ahead and set this. So we want the window title, which is this, to change to find machine jobs. I want to send the window minimum size to be 587 pixels by width and 0.0 in height, so you can actually stretch to any height it wants. And then the maximum size should be infinity, so you can extend the width as 1 million pixels you want. So that's basically what we mean by maximum size infinity. Once you save all this, but you need to restart your app. Okay, we need to shut this down and then run our app from the beginning again. Okay, let's wait for this to finish up. Yeah, there we go. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I actually see that the name, where's my cursor? Okay, I got by my cursor. So yeah, let's try this, resizing it. You see, it can't go more than 587 pixels. See, this is the smallest it can get to, and you can resize the height to any amount you want, and then you can expand this and keep on expanding, but you can't resize it, you can minimize it more than this. So that's basically what we are looking for, and it's working fine. And you can see the title changed to find machine jobs to this what we have over here, which is great. So let's go over to the main home page and start filtering. So over here I'm gonna say scaffold. Inside the scaffold, okay, give me a moment, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna copy some code to make this easy for us, and I'll basically be doing some explanation. So we have background and we have body. Our body should be a flex, so there's a widget called flex. So flex, you can use it to create a flexible layout. And there you go. The direction, we want this to be axis horizontal, because we want the layer to be in a horizontal format, like this. And this says it doesn't recognize a class or a variable called brand colors. That's because we haven't created that yet. So that's nice. This is a nice time to go to the core folder. Over here I'm going to create some themes and some text and some colors that we are going to be using throughout the app. Or I can go ahead and copy it and then tell you guys what everything is doing. I'm going to create a folder called tests and create another folder called theme, inside the test folder, I'm gonna try to paste some stuff to see if we're gonna paste. I'm gonna create a file called brand underscore tests dot dat. There you go. And in here I'm gonna paste some tests. So I'm trying to do everything at the same time. Yeah, so we pasted the stuff we copied over. As if we're in the military. So basically all these are custom tests we'll be using all over the desktop app, which you guys have seen in the demo videos on my YouTube channel. So these are the tests, so no need of recreating all this, so I just copied it over. And next off, we can just copy the theme. I'm gonna explain all this thing to you guys. Just give me a sec. Brand underscore colors dot dat. There you go. You can actually see our theme colors copied over here. And next off, you can copy is basically brand images that we'll be using. I'm going to explain why I'm doing all this stuff. I'm creating a file that contains all our hard-coded project properties or stuff like that. And next stuff we're going to create is basically the theme data dot. Next will be typography. Typography theme dot. There you go. So let's see, added images, colors. So theme data, so let's copy that. There we go. So we can't find all this, so I'm going to delete both of them. And for the typography theme, so I'm going to copy that over also. Then I can go ahead and explain everything. There you go. Save. See that this actually did an autocorrect without us actually doing autocorrect. Most of this code are depreciated. Since I'm copying it from the previous one I did, no need of recreating it. And yeah, so that's basically, so we have this added over here. So we can go ahead and import our colors. So this is our test theme. Save. Go to our theme data. You can go ahead and import all this stuff. Okay, this is basically that coding standard. So basically it's complaining that our variable name we created starts with an underscore, that we should create one without an underscore. Say import yeah, I think there we go. We got all this stuff working. So let's go over to this code we just created right now. So we can start with the brand test. Like I said, these are our tests that we're going to be using throughout the app. Basically, the best way I usually work is to add all my hard-coded tests in one particular file, a file like this. So basically, create a file and make it a constant and actually static also. No need of creating an object to start to access all these properties. You just call the brand test dot any of this name and you access it. So this basically, instead of having all these everywhere in the project, just add it here. So if I want to remove it or change it, I just change one particular section and it will change within all the apps. So that's the benefit of doing this. Same applies to the colors. So I have a file where I create all my colors, so that whenever I want to change any of this, what I just need is basically to change a particular color and it will apply everywhere within the app. And that has been great so far. So that's basically why I usually do this also. And next will be the images, which we haven't added yet. And I had code all my images in here, or the dummy images I'm going to use in the project. You had code it here. So let's say you want to change it in the future, you can actually change the names here and actually change whenever you use it in the app. So that's one of the benefits of all this. But right now we are going to add the images, but for now let's continue to explain this. So we have the theme data, the same thing applies here. So basically there's a better way to create themes in Flutter right now. There's a platform called Flutter Material 3 Flutter, I think, something like that. I've forgotten the name, but if you go to the platform, it's a website. It will help you to create a custom theme for your Material app. I will try to find the link and then link it in the video description. Yeah, so it will help you actually create themes instead of doing it the way I did it here. So basically all these themes were created from my head. So it's actually tedious and hard to actually and also talk about the accent colors, getting all the colors to match up, creating a good color scheme, all those stuff. It's hard to do it by yourself, but you can use those platforms to generate a theme and then you can add those code in here, which is the best thing you can do. So basically this is how I do my theming. Create a file where all my themes lives in. I can call it whatever I want to call it within the app. Next is the typography theme. So basically every text that I'm going to use in my app, custom fonts. You can see this font is actually a custom font. It's called Enter font. So I always do this, like display large text. We have this custom font and the font weight will be this. So this is basically how I do my custom font and theming and all those stuff. So yeah, so that's basically it. And what else do we need to do? I think the next stuff will be to go over to, I'm going to create a folder, and that folder will be where we are going to add our images and fonts. Okay, yeah, our images and fonts. One will be assets folder. The next will be font folder. So let's go over and do this. Yeah, so I'm importing out this from the previous project called asset folder. I'm going to also import the font folder. There you go. Actually, this is actually the cool thing about having two macOS systems. So you can actually drag stuff and drop, makes your work easy. Without this, I'll actually be recreating all this stuff in this tutorial video, which doesn't make any sense since I've already created this before. Since you guys just want to see the video and see how I did it, just need to drag and drop everything. So basically this is it. Now if you go over to our Vscode, Vscode should be able to have these two folders. Yeah, asset folder which contains I18 and basically for translations. And then we have images that we're going to use, all the images in here. You can preview the images. I don't know if you guys have this extension in Vscode whereby you can change colors of images and also edit the images also. That's actually amazing. All this in Vscode. You can select the image, edit crop image, kind of like you're using a Photoshop. Vscode Photoshop. You can even add a text on top of the image. This I haven't actually tried it, but I always see this in my Vscode whenever I open an image in my project. But I haven't tried using any of this. But it's actually a good plugin. So that's it. So next, let's talk about the font folder. So like I said, I'm using a custom font called Enter Black. Basically the font family name is Enter. And the font variant is, we have Enter Black, Enter Bold, Enter Extra Bold, Light, and so on and so forth. But you can get this font on Google Font. That's why I downloaded it. It's free on Google Fonts. Just download it, add it inside the font folder, and next we go to the pub spec, not to lock, it's pubspec.yaml. Scroll down. Then we are going to free this escaped code. I say free, but we are going to make it to start being useful to us. So we free that. We are going to replace it with something I'm going to add. There you go. So remove this, paste the code I copied. We are about to have some issues, so I need to, yeah. Oh no, yeah, nice. Let's go ahead and save this first to make sure that everything is working. I should have to be careful with your pub.yaml file. Sometimes if you can add stuff, if it's not in the same alignment, it's going to cause an issue. The best way to check that is I'm going to run Flutter pub get. Once this completes, that means if it completes without an issue, that means it accepted everything you added. Next, we're going to add our asset folder. I'm going to explain why we are doing all this. So you have to change this code we have here for our asset and replace it with the one I just added right now. Save again. This will run and complete. That means it's actually saved. And let me explain this. So basically, asset folder, you have to add this inside your pub YAML. Basically, what it says that once this load, you can get access to all the assets used in this app in this location. Basically, it has to be the same machine name with this folder called asset folder / the same machine name with this folder called images. Next, we talk about the font folder. The fonts, we have actually you have to create it the same way you create a font. You have something called fonts, and it will be found in this folder called fonts. And within it we have family. The font family is Enter, because over here you can see the font family is Enter. And the fonts variants we have will be all this. We have fonts, these weights are the weights, assets, because these are the assets, are the weights. So let's basically have to add a font. We're also going to save this again. And let's see. Let's run Flutter pub get to make sure everything is complete. Okay, that's good. Next, I'm going to minimize this a bit. Then I'm going to stop the app from running. Now we added everything we need to add within the app. Now it's to get busy and start building. Let's see if there's any package we are missing. Yeah, there's 2 extra packages I'm going to copy over. this package, we're gonna add it here below this. So the packages are icons package and feather icon package and Flutter chart. For the charts we are going to use in our desktop app. It's running Flutter pub-get. Looks like everything completed. There you go. Just to make sure, I'll just save it again. So I think we are done here. So let's go over and run our app again. Okay, you can run your main folder, so you run it inside the Flutter what? Yeah, debug anyway. It looks like it stopped. Okay, yeah, if you guys could remember, we made a mistake somewhere. We introduced a bug to our code somewhere within the app, so let's go ahead and fix that. That should inside main home, import this. Once that is imported, go over and run the code again. Right now it should be running properly. There you go. You can actually see that our app is up and running. So let's go ahead and start adding the stuff we want to add, recreating the app. So first of all, I'm going to start with the layout. Like I said, we create the layout, and we have this flex inside here. Flex always has children. Inside the children, we're going to have a container as the first child, and this container is going to have a color. I'm going to use colors.amber, and next is going to be a flexible widget. This is going to have a child as container at the moment. We're going to say colors dot black, add a comma, and the last one. So this complaining that we have to make this a constant. Which one? Yeah, so we have to remove the constant for the parent, which is the scaffold. So I'm going to duplicate this, paste it again, and change the color to be brown. Once you save this, you see our pages kind of like has these two dominant flexible widgets. See the black and the brown. But where did our first child, the container URL, go to? You can see that our container URL should have a width, and the width should be 80 pixels, because this will represent our navigation bar. The small navigation bar that should be here, this is basically what this is going to represent. If you take a look at the image, you're going to see the small navigation bar that we have. So go ahead and save this. You see that showing up here, but all these are in the same equal weight, but these two should not be the same equal weight. Because if you look at the design, you can see after the navigation bar, the second one is actually small, the last one is the biggest one. So to do that, I'm going to say flexible flex. So I'm going to say the flex should be 2, and the last one should have a flex of 4. If you go ahead and save this, so this is how this looks, but go ahead and save this now. You are going to get this. This is how it should be look. So this is small, next this is a little big, this is the biggest. So if you go ahead and expand, it goes this way, it goes this way. But the stuff, if you take a look at the demo we made, so once you expand, everything shows up, but once it goes this way, this dark one should be hidden. So it should not be visible. To fix that, I'm going to show you guys how to fix that. We are going to write some small code to know when our window is being minimized, so we can be able to hide or show whatever we want to show within the app. So these two code, I'm going to paste in here. I'm going to explain what the code is doing. So I usually paste I'll paste it in here. So what I'm doing with this code is that, because whenever you are resizing your windows, your build function is actually running. I don't know if you guys know about that in Flutter. Whenever you are doing anything within the app or resizing, minimizing everything, your build function is being called, your widget build function is actually being called, and that should happen because your widget is being recreated to match up with whichever activity they are doing, whether it's a state changes or any other, because actually resizing the window is actually changing the state of your app. Yeah, so that should rebuild the widget. So with that, so what I'm saying that whenever this function is being run, these two code should actually compute itself to give us the current stuff we need. I think there's a better way to do this, to move it out here. Maybe you can use a listener to listen for changes on the Windows weight. That's always a better way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, should we hide welcome screen? No, should we hide a column 2? This for different stuff. Welcome test. I'm going to show you how to use this one. But for now, should we hide a column 2, which is the dark one? And that is true. So I'm going to say if this is hide column 2 is true. If it's true, show us an empty container. Else, show us a flexible widget. There you go. You see that in action immediately. That's actually hidden, which is a great stuff and what we're actually looking for. So if you go ahead and resize this, you see it shows up when it gets to a bigger version. Basically, if the width increases, it shows up, but when the width minimizes to smaller pixels, it hides the smaller containers. So if you expand it, it shows, minimize, hide, shows. So this is one way to actually create a what's it called? A responsive mobile app, or a responsive desktop app, or a responsive Flutter app in general. That's a better way to do this, which if you guys watched my previous videos I did, if you haven't watched, go and watch the video I did on creating a to-do app. On that video I kind of like discuss a lot of stuff, how to create an animation to hide, how to create animation for responsive app. So instead of hiding this dynamically with this code, I use an animation to actually hide this. So once you are going small, it should slide off the screen. So check out my video on custom to do widget, and also check out my video on a responsive desktop app. So there's a video I did on responsive layouts. Yeah, it's called responsive layout. Check out the video also. You can see where all this is being used. Yeah, so that's basically it. So right now we can just go ahead and start adding some items we need so that everything should look like what we have here. Should look like the design we currently have. Right now we have gotten the structure, which is the layout. We need to start adding those design little widgets that makes it look cool, enticing to the eyes, and makes it okay for your project manager to accept it, that makes it okay for the design team to go wow. So that's basically what we are going to be adding right now in the next step. So like I said, I will not be recreating all this from the beginning, because if I should do that, we are going to have a longer version of this stream. But I'll be copying the code over in here, and I'll be explaining it so you guys can actually understand what is going on. So I'm going to copy some code that we're going to need. We're going to use this code to replace our sidebar. This should be the code for our sidebar. There you go. And is actually requesting for some widget that we haven't created so far. So we're going to go ahead and import this one because we already have this, but there's two extra widget that is requesting that we should add and we haven't created it. It's called bar icons and theme button. So that we are going to create these two widgets in here in our widget folder, but I'm going to copy the two widgets for us to speed up some stuff, and I'm going to explain it. So the folder, the name should be bar icons. Since it doesn't want to copy, just type it in here, bar icon dot. The next one should be theme button, theme.btn. So I spell my button as btn, not dot. It should be underscore btn dot. Okay, I know we made a mistake here, guys. It should be that also. Now I think I should be able to copy the code itself instead of copying the whole file. There you go. So I just copied the whole code. Save. I'm still going to explain this code. I'm just copying it over so it will be more easier to explain when I start explaining it. There you go. No, I don't think I need this. I think we imported something we don't need. Okay, let's go ahead and import the colors. We created the custom colors. There you go. Go ahead and save this. And let me explain the code for you guys. We should just put it in action, then we can actually start explaining them so you guys can understand more what is going on. So over here, import the theme icon we just created. Over here, import this bar icons. What was this saying? Okay, what I'm gonna do is copy this because it can't find the name. That's why it's showing that error. But I can say bar, since we know we created this file, so bar icons dot that. Go ahead and import this. We are going to copy another code for the icons, for these icons in here, and then we can figure out why this is not responding, why I couldn't find the name. So that's something good about actually going through your old code, because right now going through this code I'm kind of a bit confused. Going through the code, I'm kind of a bit confused on why I'm actually doing this, why I'm actually doing something like this, why not write this code like this. So that was one thing about I would say growing out of your code. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but basically I would say it will be kind of like adding more experience or having more experience on stuff. Then you can understand, okay, this shouldn't be done this way, this should be done this way. Because I can see some code in here that I'm like, oh no, we shouldn't do this. Well, let's see if we have more time. After this, we can try refactoring some code. So I'm just created a model. You guys already know how to create a model. So we can decide not to create a model and use normal JSON format objects, but it makes sense to actually create a model to make it more easier to access the properties and know which property you're accessing. So I just kind of like find it much helpful to create a model. So that's what we did here. Next will be this variable that we have created here called bar icons. Now I remember what that is. So basically I'm going to copy the widgets and then we can go through it together. So a bar icon is actually a widget that we created in here. Is a custom widget which is the column for the icons that will be displayed here, and inside that column we have something called custom buttons. The custom buttons is basically from our bar icons over here. Yeah, over here. So the custom button is a button with the animation that will be tapping on. When you tap on it, it dances a little. So that's basically what I call by custom. I'm gonna go through this code later on and explain how the code is running. So over here we have this bar icon. This is basically how it looks like. In there we have something called button index, which I'm going to create at the top of the file. Remember the name, button index. Should be in here. It's actually a type int. Should be equals to 0. Like I said, this whole stuff we are doing right now, there's a better way to do this of having this hard-coded button index. Here you can create a singleton class to manage all these objects, all these states that we are going to be changing over here. And instead of having this here, you can move it out to a separate file for all your constants that is not going to be changing. So that's a better way to have a good Flutter file. You can see our code is actually turning into a spaghetti code. This is called a spaghetti code, but I don't think 200, for me, I don't think 200 lines of code is a spaghetti code, but I think 400 lines and 500 lines of code is actually a spaghetti code. That's how I look at it. So over here, like I said, you guys can decide to move these things around, make your code more cleaner, more structured, but for now I'm gonna leave it this way. I don't know if you guys have seen this used in Flutter, what this does. So this is kind of like this, basically kind of destructuring and should I say destructuring? Spreading, not destruction, it's called spreading. So basically spreading all your widgets inside this column children. So column is actually an array of children, and over here we are using an if statement inside column children, and we are saying if the index is equals to 4 to 5, spread this in there inside. So add extra child inside the children that it has already. Yeah, so that's basically what I was doing. The first time I learned about this, I was like, wow, so you can actually do something like this. So far this is what our code looks like. You can see that, pretty good looking. Yeah, if you scroll down, expand this more, then you can be able to see the theme button I was talking about. You can click, see how that moves. So cool. And then you have icons. See, when you tap on them, you see the small dancing they do. See how they dance. See, which is nice one. So this is basically what we are looking for to achieve. So we achieve the sidebar, but let's go ahead and explain the code for this sidebar. First, we have something called bar icons. What is bar icons? So if you go into the bar icons widget file, so this is basically what it's going to look like. So you have the bar icons is a stateful widget, and over in there is going to contain almost forgotten the code I wrote. I'm trying to actually remember the reason why I wrote some of this stuff we have here. Bar icons. let's search if we can find this in here. Looks like this is actually a redundant code. So basically redundant code is a code that does nothing. Yeah, looks like a redundant code. Save that. Since that is not going to cause a problem, so it's actually a redundant code. Looks like I created it and left it out there. So if we restart the app, nothing happens. So far we don't have any use for it. So I'm gonna kind of like cross it out using our comments to hide it. Next, so we have the custom button. So our custom button is basically these buttons over here. That's what this custom button is all about. If you go straight into the code, it's a stateful widget to start with, and it has all these parameters to customize the button. We have the current index, the index of the button, the current index, the icons, data, a function, a callback function. There's multiple ways to actually create a callback function. You can go ahead and create something like this. Use this variable call function in Flutter to create your unpressed function. It still works, but I always prefer using the callback function type. So there's a type called callback function. I always prefer using this type of. And if you look into it, see that the type of is actually a void function, which I said you can actually create a function using that function word. Yeah. For some of you, I don't know if you know about what this type of does. So type of is a way to create a custom type in Flutter. Like this void callback is not actually a native type. I don't know if there's a better way to put this, but the type is actually a function type. But we are saying this function type, we want to create a void function. So a void function should be called void callback. That's basically how that works. So over here, we add this inside a constructor to be able to initialize it whenever we want to custom a bar button. We added these animations for button up and icon color, for changing the icon color and for making the buttons dance a little bit. This is the animation for it. We initialize the animations in here, and then over here we disposed of the animation right over here. Once that is done, if you look over here, you can see how we are using the animation. We are using the animated builder right here for it. We are calling this function called index. So we are checking to see, since each of these custom btn is going to have its own state, understand, its own memory in the system. So we are saying, okay, whenever your widget changes, so if a new widget is assigned to the button index we created, if a new index is assigned to the button index we created previously, right at the top of our code here, if index 1 is assigned to this, I want you to check to see if your own index is equal to the current index. If it's true, go ahead and animate yourselves to actually go back to your previous position. No, this is basically it, to go back to your previous position. But if not, animate yourself to actually dance a little bit for us, which is basically going up and dangling a bit. So that's basically what all this is doing. So we are using animated builder to create our animation, and that's every single thing we have in here working for us, which is great. And I'll save this. Next, we can go over to the theme button. But for those of you who have been watching my videos, I've been recreating all this theme for quite some time, so you can see it in my these theme buttons. You can see it on my Instagram code, and I actually have an open source code for it. You can get it open source on my GitHub on how this is being created. So if you take a look, you can actually see the same. We have an animation, initialize animation, dispose animation off here. You can actually see how the animation is being created. Then we have these center container. We have this positioned, ink wheel for tapping. Then we have sized box. I could actually do much better by wrapping all this stuff with animated builder. That's a better way to actually make this. Instead of using all these add status listener, add listener, and calling set states whenever the animation property changes, which is a bad idea. We don't need to do this. It's actually rare. In some cases, you want to do this in an animation, but in most cases, you don't need to do this. You can usually use the animated builder to achieve what this is actually doing. But since this is my old code, we can just go ahead and leave it like this. So this basically it for creating the sidebar. You can see the sidebar is created. So the next stuff we can actually do is to create the second section right in here. So let's go ahead and create that. Inside our main home page, that should be this flexible widget that we have here. I'm going to delete it and replace it with a new code that we're going to copy. Okay, I think we got it. So let's go ahead and replace this over here. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to say delete, paste. That's why I like copy pasting. God bless the person that introduced copy pasting in computer. Quite a handy shortcut to use. So over here, so we created this flexible widget. I'm gonna delete this code. Is a redundant code. I don't think I need it. What else I will look into achieve? So import these brand colors. Next off, brand text. What else do we need? Custom search bar. We don't have that yet, so we need to create this widget called custom search bar in here. So I'm going to create a file called search underscore bar dot, and we're just going ahead and copy the code. There you go. Go ahead and paste it in here. Now we created a custom search bar, but I'm going to introduce you guys to this code later on once you see it working over here. Now we have that. Import it, but it needs us to create a controller, so we need to also copy the code for the controller. Go scroll to the top and add a controller we created. Very important, always remember to dispose of your controller. Num format or simple currency. Okay, that's interesting. To dispose of our controller, which is what you should always remember, dispose. So I'm gonna say all the controller we have, controller one dot dispose. We're gonna say controller two dot dispose. That's all we need. Save. Once we have this, once we got this the way we want it, right in here, not here to save, so we should have this non format. So I think we use okay, the non-format code is actually a package from INTL package, basically for internationalization. I have localization package. That's where you're getting this non-format, and we missed it, so we can go ahead and add it in here. Save, and this will go ahead and add this package. Once this package is added, you can go back to the main home and then import it. See, that's fixed it. Then let's go down and see what else we need to fix. Yeah, it says it doesn't know what row and this is, so I'm gonna copy the code also. We have a lot to explain after this. This is actually really lazy coding, so we are doing lazy coding. But it's actually good stuff, since I'm just doing it to actually save time. Because like I say, if I'm to do this from the beginning, we are going to end up sleeping here today. I think 6 hours, or else I'm going to edit the code off. But most stuff make sense if I edit it off, so that's why it's much better to go and do it this way. So have this up here. I'm gonna paste the code I copied. So I copied a whole lot of code. So let's go ahead and explain this. So I have a string, a list of type string that's going to hold all the row that we want. So if you remember, over here we are having okay, instead of explaining this, let's just leave this at the moment until we get everything working visual. So once I'm explaining, so you guys can actually understand what is going on. Okay, so for this discover model card, for this model, and for this featured job model, we're going to create a widget over here for it. So over here I'm going to have a widget called discover job, discover underscore job underscore card dot that. Do the same for over here, and this is going to be called featured underscore job dot that. So for both of them, we are going to get the code that both of them need. Paste them in here. This for the discover job model. If you want to save this, all the deprecated code will be changed to its equivalent new API code. So that's basically what happened here. So the same thing with featured code, we're gonna get the code, there you go. So paste this. And once we have this, so I'm gonna go ahead and import all the missing files we have. We should add over here. Is there another stuff we're missing? Okay, we go back to the home page, then we can go ahead and import all this stuff. And then for this hot job model, we just create this hot job, hot dog, hot job dot that. There you go. Save. Nice one. Then can go to main screen and import this hot job also. Let's see if there's anything else we need to fix. So we have this over here. So I need to delete this. We don't need it. That's an if statement which we don't need. We have this custom divider. Looks like we need to import something else again. So we basically imported the custom divider that we need right here. Go ahead and save this. Edit details. There are so many stuff that I actually need to import. Some code. I think this should be the last one for this section. Edit details. Good thing is I've already created all this code, and not that we are just starting from the beginning, so we create every stuff. Okay, so we go over and add this edit details somewhere. Go. Once we got all this, I think we are good to go. There's nothing else that's missing at the moment, so go ahead and save this. Wait, looks like we have an error. It says small cap. Small card. Okay, there's a widget that we are missing called small card. I promise this will be the last import for this section. so many stuff we have to go over on to explain once we start explaining this section that we're doing right now. Small card, copy and paste. Delete this. Hopefully this will be the last. Start. There we go. I said it. So hopefully this will be the last. It is the last. If you go over here, you can see our sidebar is actually looking great. See the search bar we created, which you can actually go ahead and type front end. And once you hit the enter key, you can actually see this showing up here. And I can see our slider also working. Nice one. And it's also up to 200,000, which is what I'm expecting. If you guys can find someone who's going to pay me 200,000 on a contract basis. I mean, a contract basis. I can still do full time, but on a contract basis, let's see, 200,000 there. And also you can have this job type, anytime, full-time, contract, and so on and so forth. So, and then we have the promotional card over here below, and then you can always delete this. So this is actually looking great. Let's see once off. Nice one. So we got this. Next up is basically to explain what this is all doing before we move over to the final phase, which is this section. So let's go ahead and explain this. Over here we have we created a flexible widget down here for the second body that we have, or second section of our page. Like, if you could remember, we are using flex widget, and flex widget is kind of like is a widget that will help you to arrange your layouts in a flexible way, or basically arrange your layouts. I think that's the minimum term to use there. And in flex widget, you can decide to arrange your layout in a horizontal way. Horizontal, this way, like 1, 2, 3, which is what we have here. 1, 2, 3, horizontal this way. And you can actually have your widget in vertical layouts, which you can do 1, 2, 3, which is this way. Yeah, but in this case we are using horizontal layouts with our flex widget. And we say that inside our flex widget, the first child is a container that we are using to actually show this, to a container that we are using as a sidebar. Then after that we have a second container which we are using as our job searching area to search for jobs depending on our criteria and stuff like that. And that was the section we have over here. So we are saying that the flex width or flex basis, basically the space it should take. So the flex, this flex over here means the space it should occupy within the parent layout, right? So that's why it stops here, and this one is bigger than it, but it's bigger than the previous one. We said it should be 2, and the child should be a container, and a container has media query, means it should take the available height of the parent, and then we have the decoration box for color border, which is this border we added here, border right. And then we have a list view. A list view we use to arrange the children in a vertical layout, which is basically this. inside the list view, there's first child called a stack. The first child is a stack. That's because it has an image at the top and a text layered on top of that image. See the two text layered on top of that image. That's why we are using a stack for that. And the second one is a size box for giving the space between this and this. After that, we have a padding widget, which we are using to add our custom search bar, which our custom search bar is over here. You can see how it's been created. These are search bar. We're using a text form field. You can decide to use a text field, which most people use to create search bars, input field, whatever. But you can use, like I said, you can use a text field. In this case, I usually use text form field in my own case. Yeah. That's basically what I use. It's like I was talking off the camera. I thought I was looking straight to the camera while talking. At this point, I need the AI that will actually position my face to the camera while speaking. So we have this. I think I'm getting it correct right now. Yes. Yeah. So we have this. The input decoration. There's a whole lot of code I did here for input decoration, but you guys can look into it. So you have prefix constraint for prefix, which is basically this icon over here. The content padding, the padding between over here and at the top, at the bottom. We have the border, the all round border. We have surface constraints. If we decide to add a surface icon at the end. What else? Auto validate mode. So basically auto validate mode on user interaction, on change function, and the last but not the least, a search icon or whatever. So that's basically how we created our custom search bar. Which, if we go back to the main page, we added a padding to it to actually give it a spacing. And after that, the next stuff, we have another size box for giving a spacing, another padding widget to wrap, a wrapper. Do you guys know what a wrap widget does in Flutter? So a wrap widget, what it does is basically this. I'm going to show you guys something. Enter, enter, enter. You see what happened now? Instead of this to continue on a single line, normally that's what a horizontal list should do, but it breaks off to the next line because it can actually see that it can't add this particular widget to the available space here. What it has to do is to break to the next line and continue adding this. So if you click, you see that the same stuff. You see that. So since this cannot contain over here, so it has to bring it down to the next available space. So that's basically what wrap is doing. So wrap is basically use wrap when you want your horizontal or vertical children. Yeah, you can have a horizontal or vertical axis to actually break down to the next available space if there's no a space to contain it. So that's basically what wrap which it does. We are using a for loop to actually loop through this so that whenever someone adds stuff here, we are looping through to our list of array and displaying it to the user what they added. That's basically what we are doing over here, nothing much. That's all. And the row, if you remember, there's something we created here called row. We created a list called rows that contain all the rows we are adding here. Range value for this, for accessing this, we are going to go into that very soon. There you go. What else are we missing? Yeah, we talked about the wrap. We talked about custom divider. Remember the divider we created here? That's called custom divider. Size box. We have another padding for test. This is basically for this test here. Next is that we have another padding for our, okay, that's still for the same test. Let's see what okay, yeah, the range slider. So the range slider is basically this. Inside the range slider, we are saying the maximum should be 200,000, the minimum should be 10,000 per year. Well, 10,000 per year is actually quite a low amount of money to pay someone for a work done per year. So over here, the range labels, we are actually getting the range values. We are saying start rounded to 2 strings, so that's why we are able to display this at the top. Whenever you're changing this updates immediately. What else are we missing? So that's basically with custom sliders. Edit details, basically this is not working at the moment, so we have created it right there. That's it for our this section side. And we have all these job types. You see, any type of full-time or contract. Then we have this promo container, which should be here. Yeah, this is the promo container right in there. So that's basically it. So we actually concluded this section, and this is basically the code for our custom divider we created, and this code for our edit details, which is basically these 2 containers. This is basically the code for it. Then we have small card. This is basically the code for this small card. Bar icons, which you guys already know. This is the code for it. And then if you go over here, so yeah, I think that's basically it. The next stuff is to go to the last section we have here to create this last section. So for this last section, I'm going to copy a code to replace this flexible that we got over there. Okay, so get ready for this. So paste this with the code we copied, and then we can start adding some stuff that we didn't add. So always delete this, delete it. Bar button 1, user image. So we need to create this too. So let's start with these 2 first. Bar button 1 and user image. I'm gonna copy those 2 code and paste it. So there we go. Over here, so this is basically where we paste our custom widgets. So we have these 2 widgets we copied. Bar button 1. So this is the code for it, but we're going to see what that looks like visual, because if you take a look at the code, it doesn't actually say a lot until you see the visual representation, which is the graphical representation of that one and zeros or whatever you can see here. Yeah. and the user image, which is basically this we have here, but we are going to see it in action later on. So we're trying to see if there's something else we are missing that we need to add. So custom line chart. Looks like we didn't add our line chart package. Flow chart. So why isn't it complaining there's no line chart? Okay, looks like we created a custom line chart. Okay, I see. So over here we're going to create a custom widget called chart. Oh no, that should be chart.dat. No. Rename this .dat. Paste. We are going to go through it later on. Now let's go back over here. Now we can go ahead and import this. And there we go. Finally, we got the complete interface that we're looking for, but we actually have some small issues right here. Can I actually see this? But the thing is that we can't actually scroll on any stuff. See, it's not scrollable. You can't scroll on this. This should be scrollable. This should be scrollable, but for some reason we can't scroll. So that's because that brings us to our new problem this night, which I'm gonna tell you guys what is happening. So in Flutter, in desktop app, for you to add a scrolling, you have to actually add something called scrollable. So it will recognize, the desktop app can recognize a gesture being made, a scroll gesture or a marks type or stuff like that, which we are going to add the code. So I'm going to show you guys what that will look like. Actually, the best way to actually learn more about Flutter user interface is to always try to build some custom stuff. So I'm going to say scroll behavior. So yeah, scroll behavior. So you can add a scroll behavior to a desktop app. Over here, we're going to say the scroll behavior should be my custom scroll behavior. And this needs to be imported from that UI package. So go ahead and save. Once those are saved, go ahead and restart the app. Now you can actually scroll. You see, this is not scrolling because of those changes we made. This also should be scrolling, but it should already scroll on a smaller screen. See, now you can scroll. So when it gets to a smaller screen, it starts scrolling. Same with this. See that in action? So you can scroll this, scroll that, scroll off. See? Which is great. Everything is looking great. So let's fix some minor issues we have here. Then we can go ahead and talk about this maybe we can call it a day if we don't have any more stuff errors to fix or squash any of them. So let's see. Okay, so to fix this one, so that is offset issues that we are having in this section, which is featured job, issue with featured card. So we can actually go with flexible on this. You can say this should be flexible. Can you wrap this widget with flexible? You can try, but I don't think that will work. That will actually cause a problem, because I don't think you can wrap so see if that's actually that basically what we are trying to fix. Since the container is too small, and that ship can get to the end without causing overflow issue, flexible doesn't do the trick. Expanded might. If it doesn't, that's other ways we can actually try to achieve this. So expanded does not actually do the trick also, and that brings us to the last alternative I have in mind, which will be to use wrap on this. Yeah, so if you use wrap on this, it goes to this. It turns out to be this, but the issue now becomes that we have another overflowed bottom, which you can actually fix by making one of these, the sides, to be expanded to fix that also. But I think I can go with this way, leave this to be low and increase the container. Yeah, because I now made the container to be kind of a max width. Yeah, so we can go with this way. Wait a second, something is off. Increase the max width to 290. So I'm trying to be fast over here so I can go over this. So this is one way to fix this, but this shouldn't be the way to fix this, because let's say you add a new, let's say this test over here is Junior John. This will actually make this to be actually expand more and start causing the same issue. One way is to use that use wrap and then increase the width, or use wrap and make this to be flexible, this to be flexible, this to be flexible, so that the whole side within this column widgets will be all flexible to contain the available space. All of them will share equal space within the parent. So that's one way to fix this. The easy way and the lazy way to fix it is basically what I did now, by increasing the width or height, which I say it shouldn't be the best way to fix it, because you don't know what your user might type in here. You don't know what the admin who is creating the job might type in here. He might actually type, like I said, John, and thereby increasing this chip, making the chip stuff kind of like more larger, thereby causing the same overflow widgets. So like I said, one way, make this to be a wrap widget, make this to be expanded, 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 so every single one of them can align together. So yeah, if we have more time, we can actually go over it and try doing those. Then this brings us to this over here. This is also suffering from the same issue. Since that is also suffering from the same issue, let's see how to fix that one. That should be hot jobs. So go to the hot jobs section. Yeah, I think we made it a maximum width also. So I actually say it should be 310. Okay, let's say 350. Yeah, so increasing the width fixes the issue, but that shouldn't be the best way to actually fix that issue. I think we have fixed most of the errors we are having in here. I don't think there's any error that we are currently having. There you go. You can actually see this resizing to the minimum available pixels we want it to resize to, and you can go ahead and expand it also to contain everything. But let's go ahead and talk about try to see if we can fix this stuff here. So let's try one feature job. Hope we're not missing any stuff before we try that. I think everything is done with, yeah, we added this section. The only thing that is remaining is to explain all these widgets we created here, how I created it, how you also who's watching can also create yours too. So once this is done, so like I said over here in the feature job, I'll wrap this to be inside flexible. What is going on? What? There you go. This also will be wrapped with flexible. There you go. And since we wrap this with flexible, just go ahead and remove the expanded we added, and this one, we still got this looking good, and you can reduce the width to 280 that we left it previously, which is thereby going to cause this issue of overflow. And then once we have that, we can make this to be a wrap to see if this fixes the error. And you can see that worked, so that's good. We actually getting some. You can actually see, like I said, you can make this expanded, and then wrap this with a wrap so that when it crosses over to a place that it can't contain, it will actually kind of like roll over to the next line, which is, I said, this is actually the best way to fix this. We can keep it this way, or we can keep it the other way, which I made it, but I think this way should be much better. Let's keep it this way. We're going to keep it this way, and you can actually do the same thing for here. The same way I showed you how to do this, you can apply the same logic over here. Yeah, that's it for now. So let's go ahead and go through this code that we created here and explain each and every one of them for you guys to actually understand. So let's continue. So we're gonna start from the main page. We have this flexible widget. We say that the flex should be 4, so meaning that it should contain the biggest space within the parents. So the biggest available space within the parents, it should contain that. Now we are saying inside it we should have a list view, so all this will be in a horizontal, in a vertical form. 1, 2. So if you look at this, these are 1 widget, 2nd widget, 3rd widget, and 4th widget. So that's basically how this is being created. And that's basically we're adding it inside a list view. We are saying it take up the available height and width of the parents, which is this and this. And next we are saying have a top bar. The top bar is a padding that contains a row widget. This is a row widget, and inside the row widget I have a column, and inside the column we have 2 tests that's on top of each other, which is these 2 tests we have here. This is basically the 2 tests inside the column. And last we have the search bar, which is this. For us to space these 2 apart, we use what we call spacer widget. After that we have the bottom bar, the bar button, which is this, and then we have the user profile with a shadow. So this is actually a shadow, a broad background, I mean to say. So a shadow created with a broad background created with a shadow, if I could remember again, but we are going to go through it. So the bar button and user image, let's go through this. So you can actually see the bar button is just a container with a decoration and icon color. The icon is options outline, which is this options outline. And next is the user image, which I was talking about. Yeah, I got it right. So we are using a box shadow to create those blur shadows you can see here underneath it, and that's basically what we are doing here. This is the code for it. Yes, you can actually get access to all my code on my Coffee platform. So that's a platform called Coffee where I upload all my code on a discounted price. You can get this one also there. It's actually quite less expensive to buy, so you can actually get this code from there, but I'll be giving you a discount for this for $15. So you can get this whole source code for $15, and then you can figure out how to build all the code I used to build this on your own. It's all there. So there we go. So we have all this stuff. Remember, the design is not mine, so the design is still attributed to the owner. I'm not the owner of the design. I'm only giving you access to the source code, which is the code itself, not the design. If you want the design, you can contact the designer, which I showed you on my YouTube stream, which I showed you before over here. So this is the designer. You can contact him if you want to get access, buy this design to use it for your project, but I'm just giving you access to the code. So with that being said, so this is basically the user image and the bar button. And let's go over to the other sections of this. So after that, we have a size box, which is this spacing right here. We have something called list builder, size box, which you are using to say that the height of this. My hair looks kind of messy and bushy at the moment. I'm gonna get it fixed later on. So right now, so this we are going to use, we are using giving it a size of 200 pixels, which is basically what we have here. The child is a list view builder. Inside there we have the discover job card, which is over here. The discover job card, this is how we created it. I'm just showing you guys the source code, so if you can't get access to the source code, if you can't buy it, you can just slow down the video to see how everything is being created. That's what I'm doing in slow motion. After that, you can go back to the home. But if you want to help me to keep on making more good content videos, creating more astonishing UI designs, different videos on my YouTube channel, please go ahead and buy this source code. Yeah, that's it. So the next one, this section is called featured job. So this is how we created a featured job. So featured job. So this is the layout, how it appears over here. So we are using a list view builder, and we are looping through some items to show this featured job, and this is how the widget is created itself. There you go. After that, we have the next section, which is this section, and with this section we have a wrap. Inside the wrap we have a column as the first one, column. Inside that column we have these hot jobs listed in a vertical order, hot jobs, and this is how we created hot job. This is hot job. There you go. After that, we have the custom line chart. So the custom line chart, this is how we created a custom line chart. I use a package called FL chart to create the chart. This is how I customized it to get approximately what we are seeing right here. It's not an amazing chart, good looking chart, but it's manageable. So this is the code for it. I think we are done with that section, so let's go back to home. So that's basically it, the code we created. For the hard-coded codes, we have the a list that contains all the hot jobs that we are looping through. This is a list that contains all the hot jobs we are looping through. Again, we have a list that contains all the featured jobs that we are looping through. And next, we have a list that contains all the discover model that we are looking through. Basically, this discover more jobs. The good thing we say, I'm even speaking Pidgin, so basically what I just spoke now is Pidgin English. So the good thing we say, we have cool jobs from the top what am I going to say? Top tech companies over here. So they're actually hiring. This is actually a fake job, guys, not a real jobs. So we have one from Dribble, Facebook, Spotify, Pinterest, UX. No, this is actually Ubuntu. This is from Ubuntu. I can't actually forget Ubuntu logo, because that's actually my first. No, that's actually my second computer I used. Yeah. So we have MacOS. Basically Apple, not macOS, Apple company. And last we have Instagram, which is Meta, hiring. We have the featured job from Dribble, Facebook, and Spotify, and hot job are from Pinterest, Instagram, and Ubuntu. So those are where the hot jobs are coming from. So that's basically it, guys. Nothing much here. So we actually completed the whole series from the beginning to the end on how to implement your own dashboard app, desktop app, and you see this actually looking quite amazing, like a real desktop app you created with iOS Swift code or Objective C code. It looks smooth, it looks great. So yeah, that's it. Like I said, you can actually go ahead and minimize this stuff all the way to the end. So there's a small issue here. So if you minimize it, this becomes small. It should actually expand all the way to here. But you guys can fix that on later on. We have this amazing switcher, which you can expand. Also, once you expand, everything comes back to life. We have this amazing. Go ahead and score this fun, and next job I'm looking for should be back end. Next one I'm looking for should be DevOps, and next one should be DJ, company DJ. I'll be doing some DJing for our software engineers. So basically this is it. Then you can increase your salary to 200,000 over here, and the rest is history. Yeah, guys, we are done with everything. Thank you guys for watching this. Also, if you haven't subscribed to kosidev channel, please do subscribe to my channel. I'm actually thinking of rebranding my channel to something different, since Elon Musk rebranded Twitter to X. I'm thinking of rebranding kosidev to something different, so I'm maybe rebranding it to K. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button, always check up on me. Yeah, actually always check up on me, and also always check up on the channel to see if why I'm always moving my face off from the camera. Yeah, always check up on the YouTube to see if there's a new upload and some stuff like that. And also let me know what you want me to build next on the comment section. Just tell me what you want me to build next. I will try to build that. If not, I have so many stuff on the backlog that I'll be building with you guys and be sharing with you guys. And if you still want to support me, I have a project I'm building in public. This is my startup. It's called Sherify. You can check out Sherify. The link will be below in the description, and also add it on this video when I'm editing it. Yeah. So you can check out Sherify. That's my new startup I'm building. So fast, it's been going fine. It's been great. A lot of stuff have been happening behind the scene. That's why I haven't been able to do some tutorial videos or streamings lately, because I've dedicated most of my time to building that particular startup. It's been amazing. So basically, Sherify is for people who wants to move around with their style, basically beauty, barber, makeup, stuff like that. So wherever you are or wherever you are traveling to, maybe you are traveling to America, Europe, Asia, anywhere, Africa, you can always from the platform get a good stylist or barber or stuff that can take care of your hair, your look, your makeup, your nails, stuff like that. So that's basically what I've been building. So far we have approximately almost 40 stylists on board on the platform. That's actually amazing. So guys, go over there, support me on the startup, share it everywhere, let people know about it. And thank you guys for joining. See you soon. See you in the next video. Have a nice day. Before we close, I forgot something. I want to play around with this. So let's try this on Let's try this on iPad and see what this looks like. Just give me a second, guys. Let's try and see. Okay, so we are running this, so let's give it a moment. Everything will be up and running. And there you go, we got our job board app on iPad, so that's cool, that's great, looking good, everything moving fine. Have this working also done, and this showing up, so you can actually search for jobs using your iPad whenever you guys feel like searching for jobs with. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you guys for joining. Have a nice day, and we shall call it a day right here.